So I'm down at the Titleist Performance Centre and it is an amazing facility. And I thought while I'm here, particularly with the short game area, what a great opportunity to do a video that's going to help improve your chipping and lower your scores. Right, so often for golfers, they've hit a decent approach shot that's just missed the green, and it's a fairly straightforward shot, but probably about half the ground is slightly longer grass. So they take a bit of loft, they set up, they're feeling nice and confident, but then a poor strike. If they're lucky, the ball stays on the green, and at best it's 2 putts from there, maybe worse. So the first thing we need to understand is how are we going to make sure we set up in a way that's going to give us a good strike with the ball, and then once we can strike the ball consistently, how are we going to gauge how to get the ball close enough to the flag, and if we're lucky, in the hole, so you don't have to use your putter at all. So if we work about the basics in setup, I want you to get the golf ball very much in the middle of your feet with a nice narrow stance, because this is very much a finesse shot, not a power shot. Then we're going to go down the grip a little bit. Not essential, but if you go down the grip a little bit, theory being a little bit more control because your hands are nearer to the club head. We're then going to set up, instead of the club being sat flat on the floor, we're going to actually lift the club more upright, so just the toe of the club is in contact with the ground. This is going to mean that there's less of the club interacting with the ground. So once we've got into that position, the only little change we need to make at address is we're going to move our sternum in front of the golf ball so that it feels like they're pressing down into that lead foot. Now from here, all we're looking to do is just rock our shoulders very like a putting stroke, and straight away we should see a good strike on the ball. And honestly, first take, a little tapping. So like I said, I think the biggest thing for most golfers is they really struggle controlling where the bottom of the swing is. So all I did there is I made contact with the ball, then just got a little bit of interaction with the turf, but too often golfers either catch behind the ball or they miss behind and the club travels up. And that's because they set up 50-50, and because the brains are trying to lift the ball up in the air, they struggle with that control. So it's very, very simple technique. We get into that address position that we've spoken about, weight forward, we can see a tiny bit of shaft lean. We're just looking to retain that shaft lean through impact. And again, good strike. Just a little bit to the right, but again, not a lot of work left. Now, obviously I've done that in 2 shots. It might take you just a little bit longer, and I think lots of practice without the golf ball can help. Get into that position and feel that the club's just bruising the turf. The key with that is you can see how small the interaction is, because tiny bit of shaft lean, I'm still using the back edge, the bounce of the club, and that stops the club digging. If I get the club to lean forward more, the leading edge digs into the ground, and that's where we'll take a big divot. And that is where most golfers get it wrong. So like I said, the little tweak at setup, ball in the middle, shaft more upright, and pressure left, staying left, that's the technique taken care of. So I know what you're thinking. If my technique's good, well surely I'll just hit lots of good shots. I think the problem then is, what is your decision making like? So I'll ask most golfers, where are you trying to get the ball to finish? And amazingly, very few golfers tell me in the hole. They just say they'd like it to be close. Now, in my opinion, depending how good or bad day you're having, depends on how close you actually mean. So, yes, I'd like to get the ball to finish in the hole, but what I've got to think about is where I'd like the ball to land. Now, as I walk up onto the green, they're firm, but not super hard. So I know with this wedge, probably if I can land the ball 2 feet onto the green, there should be a decent bounce forward, and then the ball should release a little bit from right to left. So I've put good information in. I know my technique should give me a good strike. So I would then set up and have 2 practice swings looking at my landing area. That helps me feel how big a swing I need to make. Then I just need to set up, repeat the swing I've just made. I just didn't carry that one quite far enough. We could see there, just landed on the fringe of the green, and that's just left me a little bit more work. So generally speaking, I was pretty happy with everything there. Let's go through that again. Focus on my landing point, pressure forward, landed it where I wanted. So that was a misread. Definitely thought that would come a little bit more off the right. So I've got 3 balls. Will I chip in? Comment below. If you're watching my videos and you don't subscribe, shame on you. Click that button below, ring the notification bell, and then you'll find out whenever I drop a new video. Just as a heads up, when I said, will I chip in the next 3 balls, Dan was shaking his head, saying no. If ever I've wanted to prove someone wrong, now's the chance. If you land it short of where you want, it's not going to get there. Okay, so 2 more. Can feel the pressure mounting. 2 practice swings. Again, pressure left. That's got a chance. Go! Now, to be fair, behind the camera he was looking worried. Right, we've got one last one. Let's get this one in. Landed it short. Definitely need to spend some more time chipping. But if you work on what I've spoken about in that video, you're going to chip the ball closer, hopefully more often in the hole than me. Enjoy that, get your scores down, and thanks for watching.